Grind. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming. And on today's show, if I can get my camera up and running, I'm like, where am I? I can't come on. We're using the other program. We're using StreamYards today. So we're using this new software because I'm trying to get used to it. We used it last night with chatting with TheKingerd. We're gonna try to implement this more. How's everyone doing? This is the Daily Grind. We're here Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till about noon Eastern. We cover news stories, have conversations, react to videos, get you through a couple of hours of your day, your afternoon, your morning, your evening, wherever you are in the world. We do appreciate you very much for tuning in and hanging out with us. A couple of housekeeping things that we're going to talk about. I've always been trying to give you guys more reason to become a member, right? All my content is absolutely free. We're trying to give perks to members, and there's never been actual perks for members. This week, I started that if you are a member in my channel, I'm going to try to prioritize your comments first. So, like, everyone's talking in chat. I'm going to talk to people that are not members as well, bring them up on chat. So, but if you are a member, I'm going to prioritize your comments first. If you want to go above and beyond that and you want me to see your comment if I missed it or whatnot, and you're not a member, you can do a super chat. That's part of it. This is a business. I'm trying to run a YouTube channel here. So I'm trying to give you guys as members some sort of reason to become a member. Okay. But I love talking to chat, and I love bouncing back and forth with everyone in chat, and I appreciate everyone coming out here. And like I said, all my content's free. If you are a member, a YouTube member, you don't get to see ads for any of my stuff, and it reminded me because Travis is talking about Spotify. So if you are a member, you don't see ads on my past broadcasts or whatnot. And if you're not, like I said, we have GXG, we have 413 episodes that you can listen to and whatnot over on Spotify. We have like 200 episodes over here on this channel alone. So lots of content for you guys to listen to and watch. So that's what's happening. We're also going to put some stuff in our Discord, because our Discord is free for everyone to join, but there's also rooms and stuff that are locked off for members and whatnot. So I'm going to try to give more bonuses to members over there in some way, shape, or form. I'm still trying to figure it out. If you guys have any ideas as members, any ideas that you would like to see, or maybe we can implement or try to experiment, let me know. There's a feedback channel for anyone to use inside our Discord to give us feedback. So let me know. What's going on? Travis, Just Hilly, good morning. Worlds, good morning. Wonder Rose, good morning. Eclipse, good morning. Magic Dolphin, good morning. Who am I missing? Anybody? What's going on, Sarge? Jojo, good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So on today's show, we have a couple of things. We have XDefiant has no plans to shut down after Season 4, confirms Ubisoft. Yesterday, there was rumors, or 2 days ago, there was rumors that XDefiant was going to shut down after Season 4. They've come out and said, we're not shutting down after Season 4, so we'll talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about studies say that PlayStation gamers earn more money than those on PC and Xbox, which continues off another article that's called Surprising Benefits of Childhood Gaming. So we're going to talk about those two things as well. And then we're going to listen to and watch. TheKingerd was on the show last night with Chatting With. If you missed that, go check that out. That was last night. It was a good conversation. We talked about Halo. We talked about Ubisoft. We talked about SBI. We talked about Star Wars Outlaws. We talked about a bunch of different stuff. So go check that out. That was last night, Chatting With. We have other guests that are lined up for Chatting With. We're just trying to, schedule them in as the weeks and months go by. So when I have another guest, we'll bring another guest on. And then we're going to talk about and watch his self-defeating gaming industry. TheKingerd had a video, and he told me about it last night and said, you should go watch that. So I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to watch it, and we're going to cover that this morning. How's everyone doing? What's going on, Akuta Papa? And another thing, TheKingerd said last night to me, and I thought this was good, right? Because if you're new in the channel, you never know what we're talking about. And he said I should have something on the screen because when new people come in the stream, they don't know what we're talking about. He said, so you should always have the story up online. I was like, you know what? I don't really like to have the story on screen all the time. But I was like, how do I fix this? So, like, if we're going to talk about XDefiant, okay, I'm going to have XDefiant has no plans to shut down after Season 4, confirms Ubisoft, that running at the bottom of the screen. So you know what's going on the stream. So if you're if you're a brand new person coming in going, what is this guy talking about? Boom, there it is. So we have some information for someone that's just coming in going, what's this talking head talking about? Well, there it is. That's what I'll be talking about for the first topic. So that's what we're doing. We're always kind of making changes and doing stuff the best we can. I'm trying to get the audio as far as music playing in the background. This is another thing that's not very good with this program. There's ways to fix it, a workaround, which I couldn't do before the stream, so we're still working on that. So, as a reminder, chat, if you notice that the music has stopped playing, let me know in the background, and we'll get it playing. It's going to be the same track running. If you're tired of hearing that same track, we'll just say next song or something, and we'll move it along. Good morning, Haley. All right. So the first story we're talking about is XDefiant has no plans to shut down after Season 4, confirms Ubisoft. So let me get this up on screen here for you guys. All right. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, give you my thoughts and opinions off the article itself, not with any outside sources. So if you guys are surfing the internet and you hear someone else talking about things, I don't know anything about that, right? We're talking about this specific topic with this specific article, and I give you my opinions based off of this article, and then we have a conversation. So that's what happens on our channel. So XDefiant has no plans to shut down, after Season 4, confirms Ubisoft. So this comes from the Video Gamer, and all the links are in the description down below. So if you want to check out these articles for yourself after the fact, you can click on those. You can click on the links down below. So XDefiant will not be shutting down after Season 4. The game's executive producer has confirmed, Mark Rubin, responded to rumors that the shooter was going to be canned in the near future, as he reassures fans the teams remain super focused on XDefiant and the more content will be coming out in the near future. Now, in a post on X, Rubin wrote, "To be crystal clear," he says, quote, "To be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down after Season 4. I've literally been in meetings as of last week to discuss out Year 2 plans, but as right now, we're super focused on improving the technical experience, which includes netcode, at the adding more content seasons." Now, I have a video 11 months ago talking about XDefiant when it was coming out, and it was being, it was on hiatus, right? It was indefinitely delayed because they were having problems with PlayStation, with Xbox, with the netcode. They didn't get past the data process to, you know what I mean, to see what was happening with this game, if it was going to work on Xbox and work on PlayStation. It was infinitely delayed, right? Well, they fixed it, but they had netcode problems. And I had a video 11 months ago talking about, if you have netcode problems in a PvP game, in a multiplayer game where shooting matters and delay and whatnot, you shouldn't release the game. This is what I said 11 months ago, and here we are 11 months later, and they're still having netcode issues, which is, is stupid. In my opinion, nobody should be playing this game, because if you're playing the game, you're just supporting them. And if you're supporting them, broke, buggy game, stop playing. You want them to fix it? Stop playing. They'll be real fast and they'll fix it. They'll take it down offline, fix the thing, and put it right back up. Okay? But right now, they're just like, oh yeah, we're still trying to figure out the netcode issues. Okay? So Rubin admitted that the numbers are down, but it is not it's not cause of concerns. He says, quote, "We've done very little marketing, so yes, our numbers are down, but this is just to give the team the time to get the game better placed before we do bigger spends of marketing and bring new players to the game to bring back players that have left." Post continue. So yeah, that's the reason, right? The reason that the game is losing players is because they're not advertising. It has nothing to do with the netcode issues, and people rather go play a different PvP game that doesn't have netcode issues. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it, right? Okay. The response follows leaks from Sean Weber that claimed that support for XDefiant will cease once Season 4 has come to an end. Now, Weber also stated that Ubisoft is actively asking its playtesters to host another test session to gather new feedback on areas that can be improved. This isn't the first time questions surrounding the success of XDefiant have cropped up. A report from Insider Gamer alleged that developers have until the end of Season 3 to increase the player count to risk losing a post-launch support. Now, former Call of Duty dev Ruben previously stated that XDefiant would be a game you could love for a long time. So it's encouraging to hear that rumors about it ending are not true. The team published a immersive roadmap for the first year, and we suggest that there are plenty of support in the pipeline. Now, if Ubisoft is able to continue improving XDefiant, then the team have a real chance of recovering lost players, especially if the tail end of 2024 doesn't seem to stack up to AAA release as last year. Now, here's the thing. I don't think he's lying, right? I think both things could be rumored and be true, okay? And let me explain this, right? The person that said that at the end of Season 4, XDefiant is in trouble and they're not supporting it, 100% could be true. And the same thing with Ruben coming out saying, no, this is not happening, because I was just in the meeting last week and they told me that we're planning year 2. Plans change, right? All the time, okay? So when one person hearsay and the other person comes out directly and says, yeah, no, this is not happening, we're still supporting the game, he might think that's true, what he's saying, because he was in meetings. But maybe the person that's leaking stuff or heard something talked to somebody else and knows more than the other guy, right? And I'm not saying this is what the case is, but there is netcode issues with this game. There is player drop-off with this game. We do know Ubisoft is in trouble with just the whole organization delaying games, having issues, being bought out potentially from Tencent and whatnot. So there's a lot of things that could be going on behind the scenes here that Mark Rubin, what he's saying is 100% true. He's saying, no, I was in a meeting last week. Everything's fine. But again, the person saying, hey, I heard some rumors that after Season 4, if we don't see something happen here, then they might not support it anymore. Again, these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think of XDefiant? Are you still playing XDefiant? Do you still like XDefiant? Do you think XDefiant could beat out the other PvP games out here in that same type of genre? Let me know in the comment section down below if you're watching this after the fact. If you're in the live chat right now, let me know what you guys think in the live chat. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, Robert Jones? Sarge says, Ruben, good sandwich. It's a good sandwich. All right, let me scroll back up here and see what you guys are saying. All right. Travis says, just asking, but will it matter what their plans are when they get bought out? Couldn't Tencent just shut it down? Absolutely, Travis. And this is what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter what the leaks say or what Mark Rubin says. People only know certain things in their pay grade, right? A leaker only knows what's being told. Rubin is the lead director. He's going, no one's told me anything. But again, maybe the guy that knows stuff behind the scenes has talked to somebody else that knows more than Mark. So it's 100% plausible that XDefiant gets bought out by Tencent, or I'm sorry, Ubisoft gets bought out by Tencent, and Tencent's like, yeah, we're not really liking them. We're seeing what's going on here with XDefiant. Let's just cut it off. You know what I mean? Robert Jones says, hello, fellow gamers. Jesse Mack says, in the alpha test, XDefiant had a lot of players once said this is COD killer. Yeah, we actually talked about this, Jesse, 11 months ago. I was like, stop with this, like, COD killer, Destiny killer. You know, like they always talk about stuff like that. What's going on, Kylo? What's going on, Kraken? What's going on, Gene? Eclipse says, I mean, it's fun for being free to play, but it's definitely need to fix the netcode. Look, make a game, sell a game, right, Brain? Right? Make a game, sell a game. If you're coming out with a PvP game, you have to make sure it works well, and something that makes it work well is the netcode. I know it's crazy, right? I know it's crazy. Just Hilly says, I think XDefiant is not long for this world. Would like to be wrong. I think a lot of people enjoy the game, right? But when the people that are making the game are just releasing it 11 months ago, well, saying 11 months ago, they're not coming out until it's ready. And then launching in May, and then the game comes out and it's not ready, and it's had netcode issues since it launched in May, okay? Testing or not, okay? Here we are. We're in mid-October. May, June, July, August, September, October, right? We're 6 months into this game, and this game is a less than finished game. Now, what's good about this is it's a free-to-play game, right? It's a free-to-play game, so people are not putting their money out for it. But wouldn't it be nice if you could put your time, respect players' time, okay? Now, maybe people didn't spend money on this game, but what they did do is put their time into this game, and they're putting their time into this game because they enjoy it or like it, but they can't play it as much as they want because the netcode issues are the problem. Krebsy says, for Bungie and Destiny as an example, Luke Smith was announcing the future of Destiny after Final Shape and said, of course, this isn't the end of Destiny. 1 month later, he left Bungie. Apply XDefiant. It's exactly right, Krebsy, right? Again, the plans that I make today, just in my own daily life, I'm like, you know what? I want to do this today. And then shit happens, and you're like, I can't do that, right? So a company, right? A company 100% are allowed to change their plans. And there's so many people working behind the scenes that, you know, paid grade A and paid grade B and paid grade C, they all know different things. Maybe this person wasn't told what this person knows, and this person doesn't know what this person knows. And where in between that is those leakers talking to or finding out what information's happening. So again, XDefiant 100% could be fine, as Mark is saying, and then 100% just like the Destiny Rising, when it was, you know, rumored, and people were like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing, right? Destiny's having problems, and all of a sudden they're like, you know, NetEase is working on this, and Bungie has nothing to do, and they're like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden now we know that Destiny Rising is real. Travis says, 30, it would be nice, just as it would be nice, as Ubisoft gave me a busted redheaded female to enjoy, but they ain't gonna do that either. What does that have to do? Redhead that you can enjoy. Ubisoft gave me a busted redhead. What was the busted redhead? I'm missing that. Just Hilly says, you don't get two chances to make a good first impression. Plus free-to-play shooter, plus Ubisoft, plus netcode issues, too many problems. Beautifully said, Hilly, right? First impressions are everything. At least in my opinion, right? If I walk up to somebody, I'm a complete other asshole the first time, even though the second time I see that person, they'll be like, hey, you know what? I thought you were an asshole. They're still going to think in the back of their mind that, man, this guy was an asshole the first time. And then that's always going to be in the back of their head going, well, he's super nice this time. Why was, you know, I thought he was an asshole. And that's just what it is. First impressions are big, right? Hence why people, when they date and stuff, they try to make themselves look so nice looking the first time. Because in the back of your brain, that's what's embedded. When you first see that person for the very first time, you're like, oh man, they're so gorgeous, they're so beautiful. And that's what you see, because the first impression of that person was that. All right, so anybody in chat still playing XDefiant? TheKingerd said he enjoyed it last night when he played, but the netcode issues were a problem, right? But he did enjoy. Now, enjoying something, right? Enjoying something and something that's actually working are two different things, right? We've spoken about this all the time, right? We're allowed to like things that are not popular, right? Or bad, right? But just know that it's bad. But the companies know it's bad, and they still release it because they still want that money, right? Imagine this, right? XDefiant's a free-to-play game, but is there microtransactions in that game? Right? I've never played it, right? So you tell me, chat. You tell me, comment section after the fact if you're watching this, right? Does XDefiant have a microtransaction store right now where you can spend money on a free-to-play game? With the problems that it has. I know the answer. I know the answer. Okay? Okay? That is the issue. That is the crux of the problem, where a game is broke, buggy, unfinished. If it's a full single-player game, full multiplayer game, a PvP competitive game, and yet they're still charging for stuff when the game is not working it. Robert Jones says, might not shut down, but they could easily end support. Very true. Very true. Right? They're like, oh, yeah, we're not shutting down. They stop supporting the game, and then it goes another 6 months to a year, and then they shut it down, right? Right. Marvel's Avengers, right? That's not shut down. It's just not being supported anymore. Excellent point, Jones. Dolphin says, I played it in May. I enjoyed it. Because PvP guy. It's just Time to Kill was bad. I have a question. Why is this logo there and not my logo? That's weird. How come they don't put my logo there? Is that something on my end that I have to... Huh. World says, I never touched the game. Krebsy says, in my opinion, the game needs another mode / entry point for it to succeed. Do you think, though, if they add just another mode, one mode, that it completely changes the problem with the netcode, Krebsy? Because the problem with the game is the netcode. You might be bringing up another problem. There's not too many modes. It needs more variety of modes inside that game. Dolphin says, I'm getting too old. As soon as I saw I'm getting too old, Dolphin, I thought of Lethal Weapon of Danny Glover saying, I'm too old for this shit. Right? I'm getting too old to be playing with these kids jacked up on fuel and adrenaline. Eclipse says, I do enjoy the fact that you can't bunny hop because it suck at bunny hopping. It's awesome that you get punished for doing stuff like that. And I wish more games would do that. Right. They make nice little changes about that because I hate games like that where you're fighting someone and they're... Can you imagine doing that in real life? You're fighting, you're like... Right? That's what you do in laser tag. Right? That's what you do in laser tag. You cover up your sensor. You run around. You're like, he's cheating. He's cheating. That's what it feels like when you play games like that. Travis says, 30. Man, if Concord comes back and Avengers doesn't, that's proof the game industry is screwed. Well, it's two different things, right? They made their money with Marvel's Avengers, plus there's licensing issues with that. Concord, they own straight up, so they could put more money into that. So, doesn't mean it's really screwed. It's just the way it is. Kraken says, I dropped it after the first 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm too old for this shit. It's either that or Major League Baseball, the movie. Great movie. If you guys have never seen... If you don't even like sports, watch it for the comedy aspects of it. Willie Mays Hayes and Dorn and all these other... Come on, Dorn. What's with this Olay shit? Robert Jones says, I like it, and I play every few weeks. I just can't get into these games anymore. I wanted to go play Battlefront again. Not Battlefront. Battlefield 2042. But I'm just like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to. Travis says, I hate baseball. But I like The Natural. Good movie. It is a good movie. Major League Baseball is another good movie. Major League 2, not so much. Major League 1, really good movie. All right, let's move on. I don't know if I should read this one first or this one first. Let's see. Surprising benefits of the childhood gaming. Or studies say PlayStation gamers. I think this one. Let's do this one first. Let me change the banner. The surprising benefits of childhood gaming. Okay. Let me get the next story. Let's see. Surprising benefits of the childhood gaming. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday. We just have conversations about news articles, videos, give you my thoughts and opinions based on the article. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as low as $5. We try to make this like a morning show for you to enjoy it for the next 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So if you're at work, in the car, on the train, doing yard work, you get to listen to my beautiful voice. Hello. I'm 30 NSG, and this is the Daily Grind. All right. So the surprising benefits of childhood gaming. Okay, so this article written by Joshua coming from Prodigy. Okay, it says, can playing games as a child lead to greater success as an adulthood? As debate around the benefits of video games continues, a recent survey of 1,001 Americans shed light on how childhood gaming habits might influence adult achievements. In an article, we'll explore whether the childhood gamers are more likely to thrive professionally, earn higher salaries, and receive promotions. We'll also analyze the data in the popular video game subreddit to uncover which gaming communities have the highest levels in intellectual engagement and positivity through the... Well, I think we know that. I think we know the answer already for that. Through these insights, we aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of the long-term impacts of the video gaming. Okay. It says key takeaways. Actually, yeah, key takeaways. People who played FIFA growing up earn most as adults, around the average of 70,000. So how many of you in chat growing up played FIFA, right? How many of you played FIFA because you are making 70 grand on average? Okay, which I don't know if that's true. Hold on one second. I'm being stared at from my door. I have to go dispose of a snake real fast. Give me a second. Living the farm life. All right. It was funny. Let me go to this screen for a second. I told my wife, I was like, what do you mean there's a snake, right? So the snake didn't come to the patio. Okay. I said, we have cats. That's what they're for. And the snake didn't slither its way up here. It was brought by a cat. It was brought by a cat. It was a gift. It was a gift for our felines here. That's what was happening. It's dead. It was curled up, and I would say it's about 2.5, 3 feet. Yeah, they brought her a present. Yeah. As soon as I muted and walked away, I was like, we have cats. I was like, what? Why do I have to get rid of it? And then I walked out there, and our good old boy Jack, he's a great cat. He's the best. He's the best cat ever. He killed it. All right, back to benefits of childhood gaming. Okay. So, who's playing FIFA? And can we confirm that you're making 70 grand a year? Right? Among console PlayStation players have the highest annual salaries as adults at $62,000, earning 12% more than PC users. And people who played video games as a child or children are 71% more likely to have received a promotion recently. I mean, I don't get promotions, but then again, this is my life here. So we didn't receive any promotions here. Okay. People who also play video games as a child earn an average of $5,451 more than those who didn't. So take that, you non-video game players. Okay. So does playing video games as a child lead to more success down the line? The first part of the study explores whether childhood video game habits, are greater success with adult, examining factors like earning a career advancements. Okay. Benefits of playing video games as a child. 89% of the people played video games as a child or teenager. Provide stress relief and relaxation is 63%. Okay. Provided entertainment and fun, 63%. And I just want to point those two out is the main reason most people, obviously, play video games. We don't want to stress about life. We want to relax and have fun. Imagine that, okay? Development strategic thinking, 59%. Improve problem-solving skills, okay? Enhanced hand-eye coordination, 56%. Boosted creativity and imagination, 50%. Okay. That's got to be lower now, right? Because the people that are working in the film industry and the video game industry, they're just stealing other people's stuff now. So they're not being really imagination at all. They're just literally remaking and remastering everything. Okay. Increased technology literacy, 45%. Improve reaction and time reflexes, 43%. Improve memory and cognitive skills. That's way down. We're all goldfish. We're goldfish brains right now. Nobody knows what happened yesterday, right? What did I talk about yesterday, chat? What did I talk about yesterday? Don't look it up. What did I talk about yesterday? All right. Encourage curiosity and exploration, 39%. Okay. People who play video games growing up were 71% more likely to receive a promotion recently. How do you figure that out? Right? How do we talk about that? Okay, and people who played video games as a child or children earn an average of $5,451 more than those who didn't. The average salary, okay, by video game played as a child, okay, FIFA, if you've grown up, you played FIFA when you were younger, today, on average, you make 70 grand a year. I'm not on any of these lists, by the way. I'm on none of these lists, okay. Candy Crush, 69,000. If you play Candy Crush, your average income is $69,000. Doom, $67,000. NBA 2K, $67,000. Madden NFL, $66,000. Mortal Kombat, $62,000. Resident Evil, $61,000. Halo, $61,000. Tetris, $60,000. Super Smash Bros., $60,000. Call of Duty is in the $60,000 range. Final Fantasy is at $59,000. Legend of Zelda is in the $58,500 range. Mario Kart's $58,400 range. Red Dead Redemption's $58,200 range. The Sims is at the $58,100 range. Battlefield is $57,000. Grand Theft Auto's at $56,000. Assassin's Creed's $54,000, and Animal Crossing's at $51,000. Right? And then average annual salary by, here it is. Are you ready? Are you ready, PlayStation ponies and Xbots? Okay. PlayStation, the average annual salary is $62,000. So if you're a PlayStation, you earn $2,000 more than people that are Nintendo fans and also Xbox fans. And if you're a PC guy, you're Mr. Brokey, right? Because you're only making $55,707 according to this by console used as a child. Okay, so average salary, annual salary by console used as a child. So if you used PC when you were a kid, your average salary now is $55,700, and if you were a PlayStation kid growing up, you're making an additional, $7,000 more than a PC gamer. Okay. People who played Mortal Kombat as kids earned 11% more than people that played Grand Theft Auto. See, Grand Theft Auto didn't teach you how to make money. You see that? Hold on a second. My wife is screaming, so the snake must be still dead or not dead. Sorry about that, chat. This is absurd. Hilarious, but absurd. I mean, you know, what are you going to do? All right, so we found that 89% of respondents had played video games as a child, with 96% believing that these experiences positively impacted their lives. That's not what Congress says. That's not what Congress says, right? Congress says video games are bad, okay? Okay, Congress wants to ban video games and whatever else, and they blame murders and stuff on people. But yet, 96% believing experience positively impact their lives. Nintendo consoles were the most common, with 70% of participants using them during childhood, of course. Of course, the most common video game respondents played as children were Mario Kart 51%, Tetris 41%, Zelda 40%, Grand Theft Auto 39%, and Super Smash Bros. 38%. So I want you guys to look at this really hard, long and hard, okay? 4 of the 5 top games are all Nintendo games. And this is what I always say. When you're born, they hand you a Nintendo, and when you die, you turn it in, okay? So our surveys also suggest significant financial benefits associated with childhood gaming. People who played video games as children earn an average of $5,451 more annually than those who didn't. Among gaming consoles, I have a question. Did we survey Elon Musk? Did Elon Musk play video games as a child, and now he's the richest man on earth? Does that bring the average up? Just asking, okay? Among gaming consoles, PlayStation players had the highest salaries as adults, averaging $62,000, 12% more than the PC gamers. As for games, those who played FIFA while growing up earned the most as adults, with the average salary of $70,000. Interestingly, people who played Mortal Kombat as kids earned 11% more than Grand Theft Auto players, which is such a weird thing. Like, out of all these lists here, like, why did they say people that played Mortal Kombat made more than Grand Theft Auto? Why didn't they say people that played Candy Crush made more than Animal Crossing? You know what I mean? I don't get that. Okay. It says career advancements also appear to be influenced by childhood gaming. Participants who played video games as a children were 71% more likely to receive promotion recently than those who didn't. This suggests that the skills developed through gaming, such problem solving and strategic thinking, may translate into professional success. Now, parents encouraging video games for kids. Let's explore the parents' perspectives of video games. Parents' perspective on video games. 95% of parents have and let their kids play video games. Congratulations to all those parents that let their kids. Okay, video game parents let their kids play all types, 59%. Only educational and age-appropriate, 37%. So there's not many, all types. There's almost 60% of kids running around with Grand Theft Auto just blowing shit up. Okay. Top reason for letting kids play video games is played games growing up and see no problem with it. Okay. Improves problem solving, 53%. Family bonding, 49%. Stimulates creativity, 48%. Increases technology literacy, 44%. Educational benefits, 42%. Enhances memory and cognitive flexibility, 39%. Provides social interaction with peers, 36%. Boosts spatial awareness and eye-hand coordination, 34%. And teamwork and collaboration in multiplayer games, 33%. All of these apply except for the bottom one for my son, right? And Sarge could benefit, could prove this point as well. My son's teamwork and collaboration in multiplayer games is horrendous. Horrendous. He doesn't want to, he just tells you what to do. I guess it is teamwork. He's just the top and tells us what to do. Okay. Academically, performance of kids who play video games. Excellent A's and equivalent is 48%. Good B's and equivalent 38%. Average C's or equivalent is 6%. Right? Social life or kids who play video games. Excellent multiple friends and social activity at 58%. Average some friends and occasional social activity, 29%. And below average, few friends and infrequent social activity, 8%. Okay. So we found out that most parents, 95% of the children play video games. Many parents had recognized specific advantages of 53%, believe that video games improve their children's problem-solving skills, while 48% felt the gaming stimulated creativity. Okay, so exploring online gaming communities. Next, we'll look at characteristics of online gaming communities on Reddit. Spaces are also socializing and learning what can happen We analyzed the top 1,000 posts of comments from 34 popular video games and console subreddits to determine the most intelligent and positive ones. Okay? So the most intelligent and positive online video game communities. Okay? The top 10 most positive video game subreddits are: number 1 is Assassin's Creed. Number 2 is The Legend of Zelda. Number 3 is Animal Crossing. 4 is Rocket League. 5 is Hogwarts Legacy. 6 is EA Sports FC. 7 is Tetris. 8 is Pokemon. 9 is World of Warcraft. And 10 is Madden. Top 10 most negative video game subreddits. Number 1, Call of Duty running 20 years straight. Number 2, Grand Theft Auto. Number 3, Resident Evil. Number 4, Red Dead Redemption. Number 5, Call of Duty's on the list twice. Number 6 is Minecraft. Number 7 is Skyrim. Okay. Number 8 is Grand Theft Auto. Number 9 is Fortnite. And number 10 is Super Smash Brothers. Console subreddit ranked most to least positive. Most positive, okay, is Nintendo. Right? Console subreddits ranked from most to least positive. Okay, so number 1 is Nintendo. Number 2 is Atari. Number 3 is Sega. Number 4 is Nintendo again. Okay. Number 5 is PlayStation. Number 6 is Xbox. Think about that for a second. From most positive to least positive, right? There you go. PlayStation ponies and Xbox battling it out for last place. Meanwhile, Nintendo is above them twice. Right? One with the Nintendo Switch and one with just Nintendo. Okay. Top 10 most intelligent video game subreddits. Number 1 is League of Legends. Number 2 is Hearthstone. Number 3 is Smash Brothers. Number 4 is Assassin's Creed. Number 5 is World of Warcraft. Number 6 is just the Nintendo Switch subreddit forums. Number 7 is StarCraft. Number 8 is EA Sports. Number 9 is Nintendo yet again. And number 10 is Valorant. Okay. So, there you go. There's no intelligence from PlayStation or Xbox. Congratulations. Among subreddit dedicated specific games, we found that League of Legends community is the highest level of intelligence indicated by the number of unique words people use in their posts and comments. So there you go, Jones. That's what it means about being positive or whatnot. The impact of childhood gaming. From higher salaries to improved problem-solving skills, playing video games as a child appears to be linked in positive outcomes. Our surveys show that childhood gamers often enjoy better financial success, with PlayStation and FIFA players leading the way in earnings. Okay, video game habits also seem to foster skills and translate into career advancements, and advanced by a higher promotion rates amongst those who played games as a child. Parents also recognize the benefits of allow children to engage in gaming because of the potential of enhanced cognitive abilities and creativity. Our analysts online gaming communities also revealed that the range of intellectual and engagement and positivity, with League of Legends and Nintendo Switch communities standing out, and the influence of video game clarity extends beyond entertainment, playing a significant role in shaping individuals' cognitive, academic, and professional trajectories. Okay. Methodology of this: the survey was done with 1,001 Americans to explore the impact of playing video games as a child. Or respondents of 40% were parents. And we also scrapped the top 1,000 posts and comments from 34 popular video game console subreddits to explore which were more positive, using a sentiment analyst, and which also used the most unique words. About Prodigy Education. Prodigy Education is a global leader in games based on learning. Our mission is to help other students in the world to love learning, motivating millions of worldwide via fun, security, and accessible curriculum. Examples: also Prodigy Education. We believe that minimizing or maximizing student motivation helps develop lifetime love of learning. So there you go. So interesting little stats here. So if you're a PlayStation FIFA player, you're probably making more money than anybody else on average, which is, it's interesting. It's interesting. Let me see what you guys are saying about this in chat here. Let me scroll back up. All right. Robert Jones says, if they did the study in America, then FIFA makes sense. I believe immigrants slightly out-earned Americans. Let's see. Benefits of childhood gaming: G Fuel addiction. Callous thumbs, short attention span, temper problems, lack of patience. These sound terrific. Do they talk about improved grayscale visions? They do not. They do not. World says this is ridiculous. It might be ridiculous, but it's good old fun to talk about it. Travis says, didn't you talk about video games yesterday? I did. Ron Slusher says, Concord did not help these children. So where's Diablo Immortal with their 500,000 to max a character? There's not enough people, I guess, playing. Or the study, the 1,001 people survey said there wasn't enough people that played Diablo. World says, so if you played all these games at one point, I should be like Elon Musk right now. That's right. That's right. I mean, to be fair, my wife and I both played video games growing up, right? I made more money than my wife, but she makes more money than me now, right? So it's all skewed. It's all skewed. Yeah, it's just an article just to have fun. L says, did they pull these stats out of their asses? No, they tell you where they pulled the stats out of. Krebsy says, so there's like some multiplier you get if you had a multiplier of these platforms where you also mobile land. How did they get this info? These are questions I have. They told you where they got the info from. I read the whole thing to you. It literally tells you where they got the info from. Jesse Max says, it's very funny to me how Red Dead players making 2% more money than GTA 5 players. Yeah, it's just it's really weird of the stats they did. Roadkill says, all that shit, it's just made up bullshit. Well, did you know 96% of the time that surveys are 100% wrong? Just saying. I made that up. I made that up as well. That is not why I let my kid play video games. That's not why I let him play it. But I would agree with your statement there, Roadkill. Most parents let them play electronics. Like, for instance, when we're out to dinner, you'll see families all just either on their phones or their kids are playing video games and they're not talking to each other. Not my family. When we're at dinner, we never bring out our phones. We all constantly are sitting there talking, or if we're not talking, it's just silence, right? Like, we're just there together, right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to be like, my family's better than yours. No, it's just there's a lot of people are just like, I don't want to hear you. Just take my phone type of thing. World says, it's impossible to play Fortnite with one of my sons because he just lands wherever he wants and then runs off and dies because by himself he refuses to stay with the squad. Is your son my son, Worlds? Because that's exactly what happens, right? My son's like, we should get a car. I'm like, we don't need a car. I was like, just get weapons. He's running around. I got like stacks. I got regular weapons, green weapons, blue weapons, getting legendary weapons. He's like, Dad, give me a gun. I'm like, what were you doing the last 7 minutes, right? You have nothing. He's like, oh, I got the car. I got this. I'm like, what are you doing? And then every time he's like, I'm dead. I'm like, from where? I get he's 10, okay? He's like, well, over here. I'm like, where? Over here? I don't know where you are, right? So meanwhile, while I play with him, I'm like, 2 guys, rooftop, across the way, right? I'm like, detail, northwest, 200, 230, right? Not my son. He just, and then he just starts laughing. Yeah. He's like, did you see that guy? He's coming for you, Dad. Ah, why didn't you shoot him in the face, Dad? And then we played this, was it Reboot? The Reboot one? Dad, can you save me? Stay alive. He comes back in, dead again. I'm like, would you stop dying? Can I have a gun? Can I have that gun? I like that gun. That's my favorite gun. Can I have that gun? Sure. Sure. Ray says, all this tells me that FIFA casuals who balance life better. Everything is good in moderation. Meanwhile, gamers spend most of their time on video games. Yeah, that's another stat. That's another stat they should have said. Most people that play video games are not spending money on other things, right? They spend like $70, $80, and they'll sit there for hundreds and thousands of hours, meaning they're not out doing something else where they're spending money. Yeah, I feel your pain. I feel your pain, right? Where are you guys? You can see me on the map. Sarge says he's 10. It's not an excuse. Yeah, get good, kid. Get good. Yeah. Travis says 30. So you're saying is Fortnite's terrible? Yep, the math checks out. Enemy at 230, 400 meters, got level 4 plates, M4, really small dick. Should be easy kill. Yeah, not my son. He's like, I'm over here. Where is over here? Where is over here? I don't know where here is. Where are you? Give me a landmark, something by the hill, by the sign, by the gas station, in the hotel, in the building. Where are you? I played Halo multiplayer with my kids in private matches and tried to train them. In the end, I decided they must be adopted. They must be adopted. But like, how do you not understand? My son's actually, he completed the battle pass in Fortnite. Right? He's very proud of it. He's like, I beat the battle pass, and I said, if you ever beat the battle pass, if you want the battle pass, I'll buy the battle pass for you. So he beat the battle pass. He's like level 120 or something like that now. And he's literally going in and he's getting better at shooting people now. Like, he's trying to, be better. Because when we play, he kills nobody. He kills nobody. And maybe some of you guys can, see what I'm seeing. My son, when he plays video games, this is him. Are you ready? And I'm like, what are you... Sit down. What are you doing? Like, he's like full on body workout. Like, just like, you'll play better if you're not running around the living room. It's like, settle down. It's the weirdest thing. Like, you would think I was having a kid workout. When my nephew comes over and they both play video games, forget about it. Taco says he's locked the fuck in. Yeah, he is. You can talk to him. He doesn't hear you. He doesn't hear you. World says, I can't make fun of that. Sometimes I catch myself leaning in, peeking around. Oh, I do that. World. I do that. And I catch myself. I do it on stream sometimes. I'm playing, and all of a sudden, I'll go, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, in a VR world, maybe. But, yeah. I catch myself sometimes. I'm like, I just did it. Altern says, no wonder your son doesn't kill anyone. He keeps moving around in IRL. He needs to move the controller, not the entire body. No. He's moving his body and the controller at the same time. It's just funny as hell. Sarge says, you guys don't remember all the energy? I don't remember playing games like that. I can't. I'm a type of person, Sarge. I knew when I was like a teenager that when I would lay in bed, I could not play I would play a lot of sports games. I could not play games laying down. I have to sit up. I cannot lay down and play video games. let alone run around a fucking living room. Hilly says, sit down when you play. I said about 50 times a day in my house when I'm upstairs and the monitor shakes and downstairs sounds like a cat. Yeah. Are you guys wrestling? No, we're playing Fortnite, Dad. Oh, okay. Continue on. Who the fuck plays games laying down? You know what I mean? Like when you're like you're like in bed and you're just like this, you know what I mean? Like you're just relaxing. I can't play games like that. I gotta sit. I like how Krebsy's like, who the fuck is playing games laying down? And then Kirk says, yeah, I can lay down and play games. Oh, he says, oops, can't. Eclipse says, yeah, I've never been like that. I had a friend, whenever we were playing driving games, he would move it with the car. I thought it was so weird. Yeah, I got a friend that sticks out with his tongue. Like, no matter what he does, he has he had a tongue stick out every time he did something. Haley says, one of my daughters just jumps in Minecraft every time she jumps. At least you know what she's doing. Like, what's Sabrina doing? Oh, she's just playing Minecraft. She's just... If she just keeps constantly jumping, you know she's climbing up a mountain. Just put a headset on her. You'll be fine, Hilly. Just put a VR headset and then everything will make sense. Kuda Papa says, 30. The only person that should be laying down while playing a video game are your girlfriends. Ayo. Kurt says, I lay down, I'm asleep. That's exactly how I feel. If I lay down and I'm relaxed playing a game, I'm sleeping. If I stop moving, I'm sleeping. See, I think this other article, which is the PlayStation one, it says studies say that PlayStation gamers earn more money than... Yeah, it's the same... This is the same stat, so we're not gonna read this. This is the same one as the other one. All right, we're gonna watch TheKingerd's video. We're gonna watch TheKingerd's video. So let's take that off the screen. I like this music. Xbox are broke. But Xbox broke boys confirmed. No. PC by the stats. PC users are the people with the least amount of money, Jones. But you are correct. PlayStation's the highest, so Nintendo, Xbox, and PC are broke boys. And that's why PlayStation's like, yeah, we have to charge $200 for a thing that they already own. Let's charge them $500 for a headset, and then let's charge them $700 for the same console they already had. They know. Dark Taco says we torrent everything. Well, Krebsy says, I would like to know the data on how Game Pass people spend. Well, that'd be great, but they can't do it with kids because kids don't have credit cards. So that's why they said when they were kids and then grow up, right? Sarge says, well, PC have less money because they're spending all their money on a fucking PC. That's exactly right, Sarge. I'm going to put this on the screen. We're about an hour in, okay? So to show more support to my members, I decided I will prioritize the chat comments over non-members, but I will read non-member chats. As you can tell, I've been doing that this morning. If you want to see your message and you can use the super chat feature, thanks for your support. Okay, so putting that out there. We're going to be pushing that up there because I want members to have some sort of reason to become a member, right? So I don't really give that many. I don't do member streams. I don't do a lot of stuff. So we're gonna start doing a little bit more stuff in the Discord, like voting on what thumbnail I use or something. We'll do any other kind of little stuff. I might make my Friday stream. I'm not sure yet. I might do a Friday stream, but on Fridays it might be a member stream only. Robert Jones, thank you very much for the 19-month support, and says, finally, 30 will ignore Travis. Yeah. All right. So Kinger was on the podcast last night chatting with. If you guys missed it, go check out Kinger. He joined us again for the third time. And we just had conversations about Halo, Halo Studios, Ubisoft, Sweet Baby Inc., Remnant Studios. We had lots of stuff. We had lots of stuff that we talked about last night, so go check that out. It's not really an interview type of thing. I was thinking about this for the chatting with stuff. I was like, I don't have to interview people. It can just be someone that's coming back and just wants to bullshit with me, you know what I mean, talk about certain things. So that's what we'll be doing also as well with chatting with. All right, so this video is called The Self-Defeating Gaming Industry. Okay, let me make sure it's at regular speed. All right, so let me shut off this music. This music's so good. All right, and let's get to it.
With the recent news that Concord, Sony's successful speedrun of Let's Blow $400 million, reportedly cost more than any previously released first or second
200, 212, 315. Do I hear 400?
Party Sony game, and yet another round of Activision Blizzard layoffs, let's play a game. What do the following decisions by video game companies with hundreds of millions in financial backing have in common? Laying off workers, delaying a game, launching a broken game, cutting features during development, and replacing earnable progression with increasingly expensive microtransactions.
I like Kingerd's editing style. I love this stuff. Yeah, the microtransactions, broken buggy games, all this sounds par for course.
Well, they tend to be explained away by the same excuse that can usually be summarized as, we had to make our game worse, and we had to make our work environment less stable because video games are just getting more expensive to make. At this point, it's the gaming industry's dog ate my homework. For the perfect illustration of good business, here's the words of everyone's favorite technology baron and millionaire, Norman Osborn.
You thought it was going to be Elon Musk.
Costs are down, revenues are up, and our stock has never been higher.
Well, if it's just business 101 to cut costs and raise profits, what's wrong with modern game companies doing it? Well, if you have a functioning set of eyes, ears, and a prefrontal cortex, you've probably noticed something. A lot of decisions made by these game companies these days, how does Bill Nye put it?
That just makes no sense.
It's exactly right. It just makes no fucking sense.
It's just bull.
Today we're debunking the way game companies have been screwing over both players and employees alike, all while hiding behind their shield of development expensive. And it really won't be that hard. Hopefully you'll look at big game companies differently after this video, so let's get into it. Disclaimer, I don't work in the games industry, I've just spent a lot of my life—
Oh. I thought Kinger worked in the game industry. What the hell did we have him on the show for? Oh, Jesus Christ.
either in business or corporate settings. It's not 5th grade picture day, I'm just a gamer that wears collared shirts, sue me. But like you, I'm a consumer, and no business exists without our money, so as consumers who can think for ourselves, let's look at some contradictions these companies are making. Or, you know, just keep being a good consumer and don't ask questions.
That's right. Don't ask questions, just consume product.
Just consume product
There
and
it
then
is.
get excited for next products.
We'll start with one of the first
We made a Star Wars game. Why aren't you excited? Have this next Star Wars game. Look, it says Star Wars on it.
things a business cuts that also happens to have the biggest impact on people's lives: the workforce. Worker layoffs, studio shutdowns. It feels like every other week there's a new batch of game devs that are out of a job. Sometimes it's sort of expected, like when a game launches.
Oh yeah, look at that game. Redfall, peak game. Peak game. It's so good. That game should have won Game of the Year. I mean, it was just so complete with features and whatnot.
Poorly, like with Microsoft closing down Arcane Austin after Redfall, or after an expensive acquisition, like with, what do you know,
Oh, real quick. I don't know if you guys noticed. The person here
Austin
jumps.
after Redfall, or
All I could think at that moment was Hilly's children jumping as they were playing the game.
after an expensive acquisition, like with, what do you know, Microsoft again, laying off 1,900 Activision
Every time I see someone jump now, I'll be like, ah, poor Hilly.
Blizzard employees just after buying the company for just shy of $69 billion. Nice. When a business gets bought, first thing that usually happens is people lose their jobs. It sucks, but it's generally expected.
It's just good business.
But sometimes it's not so easily forecasted. Like
This is that's Tom Cruise. What was that? That was Invasion. No, not Invasion. The hell? World. And what movie is that from? God damn it. End of the World? No. What movie is that from? It was a remake. God damn it, I can't think of it. Chat, help me out.
Bungie cutting 17% of its workforce right
Is that War of the Worlds? That's it. War of the Worlds. Thank you.
after launching its successful Final Shape DLC for Destiny 2. Critics and players both loved this DLC from what I can tell, and it looks like it sold well. Doesn't matter, time for Bungie to do a second big round of layoffs within a year. If it's true from some anonymous devs that because of incompetent leadership, the layoffs were going to happen no matter how Final Shape launched, then working at Bungie ought to be considered a form of gambling at this point. What's that? You don't want to be fired? Sorry, I can't hear you over
Does P. Parsons still work at Bungie? Yes, he does. Yeah, there it is. There's Car Parsons.
the sound of my $2 million worth of luxury cars I just bought. Look, I'm not in the camp of rich guy bad because rich, but I do think that it could and should be a PR nightmare when people can see a CEO buying these nice cars at the same time they're saying they had to make the hard decision to
Yeah, it's just bad optics. You know what I mean? Bad optics when you're like, we just had to let people go, and then
lay off their people. Anyone remember when the CEO of Nintendo cut his salary in half to keep people working
Yeah,
there
I
after
do.
the Wii U's failure? If we reduce the number of employees for better short-term financial results, employee morale will decrease, and I sincerely doubt employees who fear that they may be laid off will be able to develop software titles that could impress people around the world.
which is think about this. If you go to work every day and you don't think you're being fired, you're going to work. You're just going to work, right? You do your job. But if people start getting laid off and then you're like, well, I'm working really hard. Todd worked really hard and he got let go. I'm working really hard. Am I going to get let go? Do I even work here anymore? Should I even continue doing what I'm doing? Like when you're looking over your shoulder at work because you think that the manager's going to come over and be like, hey, Mike, how's it going? You're like, oh, God, am I going to get fired? Like, that's not a good work environment. That's not a good work environment.
Compare this quote from 2013 to this now, and I think we can see the problem. The man was a prophet. And of course, let's not forget about old unreliable Microsoft closing down Tango Gameworks just after praising its, at the time, recent game Hi-Fi Rush. Seriously, the day after Xbox announced Tango's closure, Xbox studio head Matt Booty had the nerve to say in a town hall that they wanted more games that are smaller and prestigious. You know what game is small and prestigious?
Game Award goes to
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush.
I guess if you're a dev and your Xbox boss starts calling your game small and prestigious, it's time to pack your bags. Looks like Krafton is buying both Tango and the Hi-Fi Rush IP from Xbox several months later, so hopefully the devs there will still have jobs at the end of this thing. Now, if the sales were low, I'm not saying companies should keep paying people they can't afford to. Every business would go bankrupt if they did that. But I am saying if you're gonna fire people and close studios that make small and prestigious games, stop telling your studios to make small and prestigious games.
Right. How are you telling people, hey, we need more of these games? And then fire the entire staff and close the studio down that made the game that you want to be made. What's that other guy on YouTube that goes, like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Hey, guys, we really want a good studio that makes a small independent game that does really well, like, that's prestigious in the game quality. And then they give that, and they're like, yeah, we need to fire those people, and we need to try it again.
You don't say.
So what have these mass layoffs shown us consumers about the way that these companies handle their workforce? Let's review. They buy companies at prices they shouldn't. They can't make accurate projections in their own fields of expertise.
Yep.
They'd rather put their money toward the CEO's
You have Pete Carson in that.
vanity car collection than a stable workplace. And they absolutely, positively, 100% did not realize or care that the video game boom we saw during the
No, they didn't care. No, they realized, but they didn't care.
pandemic was only temporary. Wait, you mean people stuck in their houses by government mandate with nothing to do but play video games won't last forever? I mean, they struck while the iron was hot, so congrats on that, but I doubt that's much consolation to the workers who were hired and then fired just a couple years later for reasons they can't control. Those people looked like they were doomed from the start. Speaking of doomed positions, alright boys, we have $7 million left in the budget on our next game. What should it go to? Server stability at launch? More game modes for variety?
No, not server stability. No, not more content.
A rewarding progression system?
No, you don't want, no worrying progression system.
No, I've got it. Gaming industry, how about instead of hiring consultancy groups for reportedly $7 million to come preach politics in the break room, maybe you could, I don't know, put that money towards the development of your game? You can usually tell which companies don't value the scam that is consultancy groups when they start getting blasted by...
Yeah, there's no media bias. There's no media bias, right? There's no issue with that game, but yet article after article after article written about it.
Modern game journalists. Bad news, boys. After 8 years and hundreds of millions of dollars, Concord was a humiliating flop. Shut it down, maybe we can use it as a tax write-off.
It will stabilize! It's under control!
It's coming back, people. It's coming back.
Good news, we added this.
What? Ah, that's peak. That's peak right there.
It's under control!
Good news, we added this.
What the hell is even that?
How about another example? How much better would Remedy's Alan Wake 2 profits be looking right now if they hadn't included Sweet Baby in the budget? Maybe the game would be profitable almost a year after launch if they hadn't paid sensitivity readers to add a race swap here and an inclusive line of dialogue there. Same could be said for Slip and Slide Squad. How different would that game look if the
Yeah, what would it look like if they didn't do what they did?
The money had gone to content variety and not DEI sensitivity reading. And this is just talking about the cost of hiring those companies. I haven't even mentioned the amount of people that boycott games that do it. Now let's not get it twisted. There's plenty of reasons aside from these kinds of boycotts that caused games like Concord, Slip and Slide Squad.
We were talking about this last night with Kingerd on the podcast, so go check that out as well, right? Like we were talking about, this is not the reason that these games fail. It's one part of the puzzle or the piece of the pie why these games are failing.
Squad and Alan Wake 2 to perform the way they did. To preach that the only reason they aren't the next Fortnite is because they contain woke ideology is absurd, and anyone telling you that is being willfully negligent.
My ex-wife could.
FBI detective. Gay, 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 gay. The whole game is ruined. Turn this off. All right, anyway, moving on. If that's all it took, we'd have no Mass Effect, no Baldur's Gate 3, and even Battlefield and COD would have died several years ago. But let's also not pretend that DEI mandates help a game's performance by any viewable metric.
Is what I'm doing helping?
If you're wondering why companies try to monetize diversity despite the backlash they get, here's the answer. Large investment firms like BlackRock own large stakes in game companies such as...
Yep, BlackRock, Vanguard. And this is where the itty-bitty gamer that just wants to play video games doesn't know anything, okay? But the people that actually, you start looking down the pipeline of why it's happening, and then you see stuff like this. And then this what creeps in reality into our gaming space, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a business, and they want to make as much money as possible. And BlackRock and Vanguard, they own a bunch of investments, that own a bunch of other things, and they're trying to push things towards us because they can, because they have more money than us.
As Epic, Activision Blizzard, and EA. In exchange for the funds to help develop or sell the game, they give the developer a...
Which the funny part is, it's our money. Right? It's people that are investing their money, 401k plans and whatnot, and they're taking that and using that money to invest into things to fuck us over. You know what I mean?
A list of requirements.
It's called a contract.
You want our money? You play by our rules.
And you spend a lot of time talking to companies now about diversity. You now make a point of that's an investment criteria for you.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behavior.
This is the guy from BlackRock. You have to force behavior.
And at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
While it's true that corporations with a lot of money do have the authority to kind of insert their beliefs wherever they choose, it's more so because they actually believe that this brings them a better return on investment.
Like, these are facts. This is what's actually happening. But people don't want to believe this. They think that the people that are reporting on this stuff are grifters. And that's not false, because the people that are reporting on some of this stuff, some of the people are grifters because they're making money, because money makes the world go round.
Investment. BlackRock's not the only company like this, but it's a good example for it because it has made public that its data suggests more diverse workplaces statistically show more efficiency. I'm sure BlackRock wanting to appear virtuous to the public has nothing to do about not wanting people to ask more questions about its direct impact on raising the costs of housing and its investment into military weapons contractors. Okay, tinfoil hats back off. Diversity
I'm going to keep mine on. KingErd.
Mandates in the workplace and diversity mandates in the product aren't necessarily the same thing, and it looks like it's still going to take several financial failures to teach them this lesson, old man. That's right, they don't care about angry tweets or rant videos. Those aren't going to end prioritizing race or sex over a person's talent at their job. Only bad financial returns will do that. Anywho, the point is, it doesn't matter where the mandate comes from, whether it's politics of the devs or investment strategy of the top brass. Inserting DEI may hardly be the only reason for a game's failure, but it will never be the only reason for a game's success.
Agree, and we talked about this last night. And this is great, because I think this is why he told me to watch this. All right, because I didn't see this before, and he said, you should go watch this. Okay, we talked about this last night. It's a reason that these things are failing, but it's not the reason that these things are failing. Okay, there's much more going on behind the scenes on why these games fail, and that's because of the inexperienced people that are in charge of management, inexperienced people that are writers, inexperienced people that just want, they don't feel like they're being seen. So then they get in a position, and this has been said out loud by the associations and stuff. They're like, you know, you got to get people, and they put them up into positions that are not ready. They're not ready to be in position. And then they force themselves to represent themselves in that. Instead of just making a product for the people that were fans of the thing, they insert themselves. And then when that thing fails, it's not because it was bad. They pointed out and saying, it's because you're sexist, you're racist, because I made the character about me and you don't like that character, you're attacking me. And that's when it all comes out.
When you take into account people being tired of politics and agendas being thrown into every project, the boycotts I mentioned earlier, and just the cost of hiring these types of consultants, it's only a net negative, or in the best case scenario, a net neutral. Especially when your game is already fighting an uphill battle, like with Concord's unoriginality, Slip and Slide Squad's departure from what people liked about Rocksteady games in the first place, and Alan Wake 2's slow pacing and narrow appeal. If your game's already a tough sell, why throw hot sauce onto a house fire and start alienating potential customers too? There's a difference between just having diverse characters and paying millions of dollars to a company whose job it is to remind you to add diverse characters.
Last night, Kingerd said something really... I said that... I did my analogy of the grass, right? The grass looks pristine and perfect, but if you get down on the grass, you'll see that it's a problem. It's got lots of bugs and divots and a whole bunch of stuff. If I tell you there's divots and stuff there, you grab a magnifying glass, you're going to find them, okay? Then he said that if games in the past, if you look at the original Halo, that could be woke. Because you have Cortana telling Master Chief what to do, right? There's diverse characters. Because if you're looking for it, you will find it, okay? And my thing is, it's okay to have this stuff in games. But when you pander, when you push and to show this stuff, and then when it doesn't work, again, because it's a bad product, bad writing, bad game design, okay, bad film, bad movie, bad directing, bad editing, right? It's no longer about the bad editing, bad acting, bad directing, bad writing. It's all about you didn't like it, you're racist. And that is just absurd. All of this stuff has always been in the game, right? If you're a kid that was born in the 80s or 70s, watching TV in the 80s and 90s, how much diversity was there in television shows? There was plenty of diversity. There was plenty of things of people that were gay or lesbian or, right? There was plenty of stuff. There was guys dressing as women and women dressing as men and all this other stuff, but it wasn't the thing that they promoted that show for or that movie for, okay?
How does calling people who disagree with you politically talentless freaks, or saying you don't want white male influencers promoting your game, make your game more successful? Unless you're a juggernaut in the industry, or at the very least have an excellent game with mass appeal, you don't get to be picky about who buys your games. Don't like it, don't buy it turns into, wait, why didn't people buy it?
I said I'm ignoring you. Stop ignoring me,
Yeah, I don't want to buy your game.
No!
Do we see the self-defeat here? Point being, maybe workers would get to keep their jobs, games would be more profitable, if companies just weren't blowing their money on DEI consultants.
It's just...
But you know the best part about when they waste money like this? These companies then have the audacity to try and charge back those unnecessary costs to us in the most insulting ways, which we'll come back to in this video. Game development is more expensive now is starting to sound more like we might have blown millions of dollars on having people tell us to add more pride flags.
This one, the Pride outfit. Obviously, this is just kind of a recolor for the Task Force X outfit, and we have all of the other flags.
Like, it's okay that this is in the game, but why are we promoting this? Like, hey, if you guys want to play this game, are you gay? Are you a lesbian? Are you part of the LGBTQ community? Well, this game's for you. See? This game's for you. We have all the colors of the rainbow here, right? We're instead of just put it in the game. But why are you pushing it? Why are you pushing it? Let the people play the game.
Flags, just like on all of the other Pride skins.
Can you pay us back for that bad investment? You want to support the devs, don't you? Same goes for instances like with 343 and Halo Infinite. In an attempt to save money, they hired contractors to rotate in and out of the game's development instead of just hiring employees. To absolutely nobody's shock but 343 or Microsoft's, this just turns development of the game into a nightmare. New people had to learn and try to untangle the mess that was their in-house slip
Hey, game's working fine.
Space engine, and by the time they figured it out, it was time to replace them with new people.
Right, with the 18-month plan, right? 18 months.
Now they're apparently ditching the massive investment of the Slip Space engine in favor of just using Unreal in the future. Dude, how much money and work hours did this waste?
I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it.
But no, Halo Infinite's just abandoning its 10-year plan because the gamers are just too toxic and didn't like...
To summarize the state of this game at launch, this is Halo, by the way. No co-op, no level select, no Forge, no Slayer playlist at PvP, no SWAT in the game at all, no career stat medal tracking, many items stripped out of the battle pass to put in the store, no armor customization earned from just playing the game. You have to pay for the color blue, red 2 as a separate charge, no cross-core customization, weaponized FOMO on the ass, out the ass, worse than mobile games, poorly designed challenges and discouraging playing to win, sucking the fun out of everything, challenge swaps, let's design systems that is so fucking bad it's painful to sell consumables, okay? This is how the game launched. But because you don't want to play it, obviously it's not a bad game. Obviously you're sexist and racist and misogynistic.
Like the perfect game they put out. But what about the opposite scenario when a company doesn't lay off workers, doesn't hire them either, and tries to squeeze every last penny they can out of the people they have? Sometimes it kind of looks like it ends up in the company's favor. They get to avoid the consequences of crunch culture and being unfair to workers, like with Red Dead 2. I mean, really, crunch culture is terrible, but even with the bad publicity, the game sold really well.
Right.
And sometimes it doesn't work in the company's favor. Like when EA settled for over $15 million to developers who accused them of overworking them on The Sims 2.
Think about that. They paid out $15.6 million to settle overtime crunch. How much money did they make from the overtime crunch? $15.6 million is a drop in the bucket for that. They're like, yeah, we'll pay it out.
I'd bet
and we'll do it again.
Just paying some overtime or hiring some people would have been cheaper than a $15 million settlement.
Nah, they're okay.
But that's just me.
Yep.
Speaking of EA, the loot box fairy himself, CEO Andrew Wilson, says that maybe he's found the solution to not having to pay as many workers anymore. And that solution is by deeply embracing AI.
Oh, I can't wait for this to come to fruition. The AI. Oh no, we're only using AI for certain things. It's not going to take the developers' jobs. Sure.
Maybe even having it impact 60% or more of game development.
What the hell is this?
He said this a week after laying off just shy of 700 people, by the way. Boy, if you think quest and art design is generic already in your favorite looter shooter, just wait till AI's making it.
Yep.
Fabulous news, gentlemen. Our groundbreaking AI can create 5,000 different fetch quests at ease. Quantity over quality, am I right, fellas? Oh. Horace, would you be a doll and bring out some fresh caviar? But it goes beyond just AI work is inferior, which right now it is. It also brings up several legal and ethical questions. The ethical debates around AI will be a discussion for another day, but bottom line, AI is like reaction streamers on steroids. Sidestepping as...
Hey, wait a minute. I'm a reaction streamer.
As much effort or creativity as possible to put out as much product as possible.
Objection!
Wait. This video is about business not making sense. If AI can cut costs and raise profits, wouldn't Norman Osborn like generative AI?
Costs are down, revenues are up.
Well, no. At least not yet. Here's why. After companies invest so much in AI without really knowing what the results will be just yet, we will see delayed projects due to
He lost his head for no reason.
unforeseen issues. We will see even more wasted company dollars on fixing messes created by their AI, and we will see them hiring people who specialize in AI but may not actually...
Yeah, look, here's a job, right? Implementations of AI techniques such as integrating language models and building a fine-tuning specialized models. Stay up to date with the latest advancements in generative AI, ML technology. All right, this is a senior AI engineer for 343 Industries.
actually know or care about making good video games. You thought Battlefield 2042 at launch looked like it was made by AI? Brother, wait till EA cranks that AI up to ludicrous speed.
Spaceballs. Love it.
And guess what will happen after these companies lose buckets of money on these initial AI projects? The same thing that happens any other time they waste money during a game's development.
We gotta drop the load!
They start cutting things, but not the price. Take digital-only games.
No, the price will stay the same. They start firing people, and then when they can't fire people, they'll take the cost of the stuff and put it in towards raising the price of microtransactions for the people that enjoy the video game. That way, if they're not making the money from the larger grand scheme of people, okay, or the grand stand of people, okay, they're making it from the smaller amount of people. Think Diablo Immortal, right, where this small amount of people are spending a lot of money. Okay, the 20% pay for the 80%, but now with AI instead of employees.
Games, for example. No ownership of the game you bought, no tangible product to keep at your place, no promises they won't just take it out of your game library a year from now, but by God, they're still raising that price to $70.
Yep.
Check out my video on the dark side of digital media if you want to hear more about that. You know, if you want to.
He's actually trying. What a nerd.
Digital only means no more cheapskates selling each other used games to try to save some money.
Yep.
You'll want to buy a $10 copy of Black Ops 2 from your local used game
It's
store?
gonna cost you $50.
Well, I hope you did it before
There it
it
is.
closed down. The digital version of that game from over a decade ago is still a whopping $50. Unless that store was GameStop, then screw them. Sounds harsh, I know, but that's what they get for offering me 10 cents for my Xbox 360 console back in 2013.
10 cents? Is that true?
And there's plenty more where that came from.
True story. But
What? They offered him 10 cents for a box with electronics in it? That's crazy.
cutting physical copies and laying off workers
And they're going to turn around and sell that for like $40.
Is not enough for these companies. Oh, no, 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 no. The next thing they like to cut from their games is the games.
Yeah, let's cut the game from the games. Because that makes sense.
I have tons of videos on this concept, so I won't spend a ton of time on it here, but every one of us that's seen a high-profile game launch in a piss-poor state or with half the features it should knows exactly what I'm talking about. What, our PvP game only has 4 modes in a series that's historically had dozens of them? Ship it! We'll get money from the cosmetics anyway. Our single-player game doesn't even function to the point where it'll lead to a recall, class action lawsuits, and investigations by consumer protection agencies? Ship it! Our fans are loyal, they'll wait for us to fix it.
Look at this guy's face.
By consumer protection agencies? Ship it!
This face came out and told you he's sorry. Right? Look at him. It looks like a hostage video. Right? He was the one that drew the short straw that day and said, well, you're going to have to go out and tell people they, that you're sorry. And he's like, oh, this is a hostage video. Take the cyberpunk thing out the back. This is 100% a hostage video.
Our fans are loyal. They'll wait for us to fix it. How about something more difficult now? It's easy to crap on things we all hate, but what about unnecessary investments that I bet some of you watching this actually really like? What do Among Us, Stardew Valley, Minecraft, and Fortnite all have in common? Despite being in different genres, they're all hit games, and not one of them has lifelike movie-quality visuals.
That's very good. That's right. Right? It doesn't matter about the visuals. It doesn't matter about the visuals. It's a matter about if the game works and it's fun and people just like it, right? Obviously, visuals go a long way to sell certain things, but now they're putting better visuals in games and yet no games in the visual game.
You know, the type of graphical fidelity that when your grandma walks in the room, she's like, oh, this is a video game? I couldn't tell. Now, of course, I'm not suggesting that every game needs to look like Superman 64, but folks, it's not 2006 anymore. The arms race for the best graphics is over.
Yep.
I think most people would agree that if graphics just sort of stopped progressing where they are right now, or in Battlefield 3's case, stopped progressing past what they did back in 2011.
Yeah, 2011, 2012. Like, the graphics then were great. Look at it.
11? I think we'd be all right with that. Nintendo, Fortnite, so many indie games without realistic visuals have already proven that, get this, if a game is fun, people will buy it.
If a game is done, make a game, sell a game, then yeah, people will buy it because they're like, hey, this is a game. This is a game.
Not true. That's impossible.
We're at the point in graphical fidelity that even remasters are becoming difficult to spot from their originals in some cases. Tanking massive amounts of money into the most graphically impressive, borderline uncanny valley visuals just isn't necessary to make a
Man, I'm so glad that lizard looks so real.
Successful video game anymore. And if anything, it can just tie up resources that could have gone into adding more content or more features to make the game better. I'm sure plenty of people will disagree with me on that, but I'd bet a lot of you kings watching right now would rather have a good game with mediocre graphics than a mediocre game with good graphics.
That's correct.
And if I'm wrong,
I agree. I'm on your side, Kingerd. I agree with that.
Then, by God, let's just let every game be the next Hellblade or the Order 1886, I guess. Better yet, maybe that Matrix Awakens demo where you literally just walk around on a street so it can show off Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, that can be the new bedrock of gaming.
Pretty walking
Visuals
sims.
and gameplay absolutely can go great together. I'm just making the point that when a company insists on pushing the boundaries of graphics and visuals, it gets expensive, and unnecessarily so. And if game development is just getting too expensive to give us complete games or treat workers fairly, then consider this some free advice on the very first thing you could scale back on to save money. You have my permission to not work.
Yeah. Peach fuzz on the face. Like, I get it. It's great, right? When you tell me stuff like this in Monsters Incorporated, when they did Sully's hair in that movie and pixelated in Pixar, and they were like, each hair moves individual, that's impressive for a film because the film is only an hour and a half or 2 hours long, okay? But if a video game, if you're doing this and this takes you 6 months to do, and because you were working on this, you're not putting more content in the game. Now, I'm not talking specifically about Horizon Zero Dawn, but just saying, if you're putting more graphical intensity into a game, but yet the game is not a game because it's incomplete and it comes out and it's broke, buggy, and unfinished for the next 18 months, then keep your peach fuzz off the person's face and give me an actual game.
Worry about pores and peach fuzz on character models. Just make a good game.
Costs are down.
But throwing away money isn't all they do. They straight up gamble it. If every penny counts when running a game company, why do execs keep insisting on putting out high-risk live service games with low barriers of entry, like free-to-play or games that rely on microtransactions to survive? Now, don't get me wrong, as a lifelong cheapskate and proud bearer of the name Mr. Krabs by my friends, I love the idea of getting to boot up a new game for free. But the history of game...
Who doesn't? Right? I'm playing Game of Throne and Liberty, right? Who doesn't like to try out the demo, a free-to-play game, and it actually works? Why does a free-to-play game work and a full-price game doesn't? Right? Because they already have your money for the single-player purchase full-price game, but they don't have your money for the free-to-play game. So the free-to-play game has to work, has to be good. Visually, gameplay-wise, something to keep you intrigued and keep you going with that game. You're like, wow, this is really good for free-to-play. Yeah, I'll give them $10. I'll give them $20.
Games didn't start with Fortnite. Free-to-play games are a tremendous risk for a company. Not only is a live service game going to need round-the-clock care, maintenance, and new additions to keep a player count, but it's also extremely easy for a person to just try it and uninstall, or worse, play it for months and
That's right. A free-to-play game has to work.
Spend nothing, earning the studio behind it not even 1 penny. It's debatable if free-to-play games are actually as player-friendly as they seem. I might do a video on that sometime in the future, but for now, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the execs. Your live service game that requires long-term development and maintenance is not free to develop nor maintain. Depending on the game, this can range from thousands a month to millions of dollars a month. A one-time purchase by the player is off the table, so no waves of $60 or $70 when you sell it. You have to keep persuading players to rack up more playtime with events, new content, and incentives to bring people back. No development breaks. High risk, high reward. A bunch of game devs were surveyed at DevCom 2024, and nearly 90% of them said that premium games don't need microtransactions to be successful.
No, because the game itself, if you make a game, $60, $70, $120, there should be no microtransactions in that game. Zero. It should just be the game. You've made your money on the game. Not only are you making more money per copy now because the $60, if it was just $60, it's digital. All that money is going towards the companies now. There's no shipping. There's no shelf space. There's no nothing to do that. There's no instruction manual in the thing. There's no disc to print. They're making way more money per copy now. And then they raised it by $10. And not only did they raise it $10, they raised it $20 to $30 because it's the pre-order, 3-day early access, right? Then they tell you about the future roadmap down the road where you have oh, a full year of content that you're paying up front and you have to wait a year for. They're making more money, and on top of that, they have a season pass, and they have a battle pass, and they have a microtransaction store.
They said that financial success can just come from being buy to play. Granted, these are the devs, not the suits, but I guarantee you when it comes to how much effort it takes to make a video game, their opinions are gonna be more valuable. And specifically for games on services like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus that aren't technically free since we're paying a subscription. Sure, depending on the deal, the company that made the game might get an initial payout, or maybe
majority of the time they do
some residuals based.
If it's a third-party game, they've made their money up front, and they probably got close to what their game cost, which we've seen from the FTC and whatnot, where if a game comes onto Game Pass, let's say the game costs $50 million, they're bringing them like almost all of it up front, and they've made their money back. And if they're on other multiple systems, multi-plat, like if they're selling on PlayStation or PC or whatever, then they're making money on top of that, right? But if it's on Xbox Game Pass, they've made a huge chunk of change to subsidize their costs where they'll make the money so they don't have to sell as many copies because Xbox has paid them up front.
On playtime, but now they're competing for player time with other games that player's subscription is also paying for.
Sure.
Is it not extremely risky to have to fight with these other games for a piece of every player's $10 or $15 a month? So the next time a company worth millions or billions tries to tell you that it has to lay off its workers, it has to rush out a broken game, it has to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a single game's development, or it has to paywall more and more features until the base game is nothing but a charred husk, just remember, the company chooses where to invest their money and where to cut costs. It's the meme of the guy drowning because he refuses to stand up. Don't let them guilt trip us players into paying for their bad investments or aspiring game devs into working for them for cheap because it's just more expensive to make a game now. Thank you, channel members, for voting on the topic of today's video. For more on the dark side of digital media,
I'm glad you told me to go watch this. So go check out Kingerd. Give it a like. Give it a thumbs up. Right? Go give it a comment. Go give him some support over there. He makes some good essay type of videos. Yeah, I think he's 100% correct. Right? I think he's 100% correct on this stuff. As far as well talked out. By the way, like it's not like he hates what's going on. Right? He's giving a nice example of what's going on and letting it be known. Like this is what's happening in the industry. This is what I do all the time. I tell you guys what's happening in the industry, and people just want to turn a blind eye. If you want to turn a blind eye, cool, but just know that this is happening, and it's not fake. It's not because there's grifters talking about one side or the other. These are things that are actually happening. And just like Sarge always says, I didn't ask for better graphics. I didn't ask for things. All I want is a product. You give me a product that's good. If it's a phone, if it's a mouse, if it's a video game, if it's a phone, if it's a book, right? You make the product, and then you sell that product. And when you sell that product to me, I get to judge if it's good or bad. That's the freedom of giving you money and then telling you this sucks or this is fantastic, right? But that's not what's happening anymore, right? They tell you that you're racist. They tell you that, well, your opinion doesn't matter. Everyone's opinion matters. But at the same time, everyone's opinion doesn't matter because you listen to who you want to listen to. You don't listen to who you don't want to listen to. But these companies are cutting costs by laying off the employees, still charging you up front for a full-fledged game that has no end in sight of finishing the actual original game, and then they crunch the employees, use them, toss them out, use us, toss us out, because instead of paying up front and getting the whole thing up front, you're paying up front and wait a year, wait 2 years. The developers, they're getting tossed out, like the tissue example I always have. You just keep pulling that tissue, the next developer's there. They're getting abused because they're like, hey, we got to make this game. We got to put this game out. We're doing this game. And then they launch it, and then they're like, all right, thanks for your work, and they let them go. Making more money on their side, not paying them enough, no benefits, taking our money, giving us a game 3 days early. You pay half the price of a full-price game just to play 3 days early. It's insane. It's an insanity thing. Insanity thing? All right, let me go back to what you guys are saying. Let me scroll up a little bit. Let me see. Kylo says, crunch is inevitable. They know what they signed up for being a dev. Never understood the problem that comes with the position. Yeah, look, when I went to Full Sail, Okay, there's a gaming division in there, and they literally train us, right? Film, show pro, video game design. They tell you exactly how the industry is before you even get into it. They're like, you're gonna have long hours, you're gonna have crunch time, this is what's gonna happen, and you know what you're getting yourself into. No one's just walking into it going, oh, I don't know what this is gonna happen, unless you're a person that kind of maybe was a streamer, and then you brought into it, you didn't know anything about game design, you got to work in the community manager area, and then you move yourself into like a development position. But even at that point, as a community manager working with the company, you gotta know what's happening behind the scenes, unless you're just like walking around with your eyes and ears closed. Robert Jones says, that made me drop my food. Cut the game from the game. World says, exactly why I have no issue with 30 frames per second with great graphics. Not amazing. I mean, look, I played Storage Hunters Simulator the other day. The graphics are not the greatest, right? But the loop of the game is fun. The graphics are not the greatest. The gameplay is not even the greatest. But I'm having fun with it. And the price point is spot on. It's like $20, $25. They're not asking for $70 for that game, right? And the demo we played compared to when I purchased the game, right? I played the demo. I liked the game. So I decided to purchase the $20 game. Okay? I decided to purchase the $20 game, and it's got way more content in there than it did in the demo. You can upgrade your store. You can go to different people to appraise the items that you get from the thing. It's much more deeper than what we played in the demo. Robert Jones says, I heard someone say the other day that the film industry is ruined gaming. How so, Jones? Can you go more detail with that? Krebsy says, I played Devil's Advocate. Peach Fuzz is made by the art design team. The design team doesn't make content. No, I 100% support the argument, and I'm also driving a different direction, I think. But they're spending money on that. They could have hired, instead of putting the art department person and hiring that person to put Peach Fuzz on the actual face, they could have hired another designer or game dev to make the game out faster, because you really don't need the Peach Fuzz on there. So you're still spending the money. So if that person's job to put Peach Fuzz on the actual character to bring nothing more to the game, and that costs an additional $60,000, you could have taken that $60,000 and tossed it to somebody else to help make that game faster. Kraken says, I disagree with everything except the Alan Wake stuff. I don't see how it woke or DEI, to be honest. For Alan Wake, you don't understand why it's... Wait, I disagree with everything except the Alan Wake. So you agree with that his saying of the Alan Wake was woke, but the rest of the examples not. I refuse to play anything at 30 frames per second. This is why I have a PC. If you're okay with 30 frames, that's fine, but don't say everyone else is okay with it too. Yeah, no. Look, do you like soda? I like soda. Not everyone likes soda. Do you like water? I like water. Some people like water. Some people like soda. Some people like drinking. Different strokes for different folks, right? Some people like 30 frames per second, but to say everyone likes soda and everyone likes, 30 frames per second, that's wrong. You meant the opposite. Okay, so you think everything else was examples, was woke, but the Alan Wake stuff was not, is what you're saying. Jones says, I will butcher it, but something about how at one point the film industry came in and tried to show how the devs, how to make games, which somehow led to the 80s crash. I would, if you could link that in some way, shape, or form in our Discord, I would love to go down that rabbit hole and see what they're talking about. If you remember who it was, or if it was a channel, if it was a tweet or something. Yeah, but the Alan Wake stuff was proven that it is woke. Like, they literally came in as a what's the word? A consultant firm. And then the company itself said that they didn't have, they had it in a certain way until the consultant firm came in and showed them a different way, and then they changed the character. Well, the consultant firm was Sweet Baby Inc. And they did change the character. And they literally changed the character, as Kinger was saying last night, to belittle, right? Because it's Alan Wake, but you're not. It's 60% of the game is not Alan Wake, right? And then they diminish the main character. Sarge says the 80s crash for gaming was because there was no quality control and the market was flooded with just trash. Nintendo established the quality line and the standard for quality. This is why. Yeah, that's cool. You could find it whenever. Because I can't really comment to say that the gaming industry was ruined by movie industry. Because I would say that, well, the video game industry was trying to become the movie industry. So I don't know if it was because movie people came over to games and then tried to make gaming into movies, or vice versa. Because obviously, even Xbox with Game Pass is trying to copy what the film industry is doing, which is with Netflix. Hilly says, I don't care about the DEI or woke stuff. I care more about the Uggo characters, like the escapism from video games requires sexy ladies and brute hero warriors, in my opinion. I agree with that. If you're playing a game like what's that one more story based, Strange Life, whatever it is. If you want to tell a story like that, cool, right? If you want to get in an in-depth story with that character and follow that character around, they make the characters you want. But when you're playing some fantasy, sci-fi, like over-the-top type of stuff, I definitely don't want to look at that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And if you want to call me sexist or racist or misogynistic for it, I mean, I'm gonna purchase a game that I'm interested in. And if it doesn't look good to me, if it doesn't visually look stunning to my eyes, if that's because characters look bad or they're not attractive, then so be it, right? Or it could be the gameplay. Like, the gameplay is unattractive to me. The graphics are unattractive to me. The character design is unattractive to me. Krebsy says, but wouldn't the art team already be hired to make every other art thing for the game? Theoretically, Peach Fuzz would be made during the time art team had no work, or no work equals wasted money. No, I mean, honestly, this conversation here, I can't tell you, and you can't tell me when the art team comes in, okay? I don't know if it's early on. I don't know if it's late in the project, okay? I would assume it's based on whatever they're prioritizing, okay? My thing is if they hire another person, let's say there's 5 people working in the art department team and they're putting Peach Fuzz or nut sacks that shrink in Red Dead Redemption, okay? If it takes away money to add something that's absurd, okay? Because they're doing their job. They're just artists. They're doing their job. They hire the artists. It's not attacking the artists themselves, right? If they take $1.2 million and hire these people to make these things happen, that's $1.2 million they didn't need to put into a game, where they could have put into something else to make the game a game. The Peach Fuzz doesn't make the game, right? The individual strands or the nutsack on a horse shrinking and expanding in cold, okay, doesn't make the game, okay? It's cool little things to put out there and show how the graphics are, but could you spend that money better for that game to make a better game? If the game comes out and it's broke, buggy, and unfinished, but the nutsack looks beautiful, or the Peach Fuzz on the face looks fantastic, great. That is a waste of money and time. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. There's someone at the door. Travis says, it may be stupid, but some people want their characters looking realistic as possible. Not me, because it's me. To me, I say why I would want the realism in gaming. Gaming is an escape from reality. But if the game is set in reality, then it would be fine, right? Life is Strange. I think that's the game I'm talking about. Yeah. Kraken says, oh yeah, okay, I can see that. I did find it very odd. I spent a majority of the time playing as Saga over Alan Wake. I guess aside from that, it didn't affect my experience. To say that something is woke or DEI doesn't mean it's bad, right? Doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it could affect you in any way, shape, or form. People are just pointing out that this thing is in the game, but why is it in the game? And they force it down you. And it really doesn't bring anything more to the game, but it doesn't take away, for the most part, anything away from the game. What makes a game good or bad would be the good writing, bad writing, good editing, bad editing, good music, bad music, right? The direction of the game mechanics and stuff like that. If you enjoy a game that has woke elements, doesn't mean like, oh, you support it. It has nothing to do with that, right? We're just talking about these things are in this game. That's reality. Jones says, Krebsy, I think it has to do with the game's resources required to make something look that good. They'd also have to use those resources in other places. Right, it's just more money. Take the peach fuzz out of it, right? If you make a game that's a single-player game, but then you add PvP to it, right? You're taking resources away from making this game, just the single-player game, the best it could be. Or vice versa. You have a PvP game, and then you want to add a single-player campaign to it, you're taking away from the PvP aspect of the game. You're spending money, and then both aren't great. Maybe one's better than the other because you had better people working on certain things. But if you just focus on one game, this is why I tell people, don't spend money on making a Battle Royale game mode in your game, because there's other Battle Royale games out there. So now you're doing a single-player game, then you're doing a PvP game, and deathmatch, team deathmatch, King of the Hill, then you're doing a Battle Royale, and you're taking resources that could make this game better, but you're spreading it around to make a subpar game. Jones says the art team making skins after the game doesn't impact the development. No, it doesn't impact the development, but it does impact the development as far as, hey, are we making these things to earn in the game, or are we making these things after the fact, which I would say does affect the game, right? Because the game is less of a game because they're now taking that stuff that would be in the game and not putting it in the game and putting it after the fact so they can charge microtransactions in some way, shape, or form. Dolphin says, what game? Peach Fuzz. They show in Kingerd's video. They showed a picture of Horizon Zero Dawn with her face, and it's just an example, right? To take the detail, and same with the Red Dead Redemption with the horse testicles. Not money or manpower, but literally game engine resources. Yeah, so, I don't know. I like the video. Kingerd made a good video there. Let me check Twitter, see what's going on Twitter. If you guys like what I do, if you like to show some support, become a member. I decided that I would prioritize members, okay, comments or non-members over non-members. If you want to see your message and you want to, get me to say it on stream or whatever, you can use the super chat feature. But if you're a member, I want to try to give back to members because I don't have any membership perks, right? We have the emotes and whatnot on the channel, but I want to make sure that the people that are coming back every single day supporting the channel, that I get their stuff on screen and back and forth with them first. Travis says, my thing is, to me, like the Peach Fuzz thing, is unnecessary. But, no, but did it ruin the game? Also, no. My issue is with when people claim that it ruined the game. Yeah, no, I don't think, let me be clear. I don't think the Peach Fuzz or the testicles ruin the game in any way, shape, or form. If you can make the game where you can put that stuff in to make it a little bit better, cool. But if your game suffers from some sort of problem. The game is incomplete, broke, buggy, unfinished, and you have this attention to detail to stuff, and the game is not complete, then resources weren't distributed properly. You see what I'm saying? Or the people that made the game weren't up to par to make that certain thing, right? So, for instance, if I had a game that looks beautiful, super graphics, but the gameplay is bad, I would have taken the money, instead of making the graphics super intense, more towards people that could make a better game play loop than the graphics. You see what I'm saying? Horseballs woke. Okay. Like, I get it. There are people out there on YouTube that will say, because it's woke, you'll go broke, and because it's woke, it'll fail. But at the same time, I don't think it's that only reason. I think a lot of that stuff has to do with the inexperience of people. It just so happens the people that, lean that direction, and it's not really a left or right thing. It's just whatever, their experience in that position, if it's writing, directing, editing, okay, they're not experienced. And when they try to do something, it comes across bad. And that is the crux of the argument, the bad aspect. This doesn't mean it's bad, okay? It just so happens that a lot of the things that are this are bad because the experience of the people writing these things is not good. Not to say that they can't make good stuff. It's just, look at it. A lot of the stuff is pushed and promoted instead of promoting the game. They tell you that you can do this in the game. Karen Freeze that they showed, okay? Why are you showing no gameplay of the stuff, right? When Karen Freeze came out, they said, oh, here's the pride flags in the game. Okay, great. But what's the game? What's the character? Oh, here she is. It's representing you. It's like, but why are you pushing this? Just tell us the next character's out, okay? No, but the next character's out and she represents this, or he represents that, or this represents this, and this is what it is. And it's like, that's not why people are playing games. Not saying there aren't people like that that look at that and go, oh, I want to play that game because of that. But majority of the people don't care about that stuff. They just want to know if the game is good. They want to know if the game is working. And when you play a game and you sit in a PvP game and the netcode's bad, but there's women character in the game, people are like, oh, you don't want to play the game because there's women characters. Like, no, I don't want to play the game because the netcode is bad, right? It has nothing to do with woke. It has everything to do with broke, right? It just so happens most of that stuff that people are pushing is a broke game, and it has that stuff in it. Krebsy says, I say the peach fuzz and the horse nutsacks only get worked on when the art team has nothing else to work on. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think from a standpoint, I can tell you from the backdrop of the film industry, Krebsy, if we're doing set design, okay? When you're building set design, you're like, oh, we're going to build a set. It's not about, oh, we're going to put the attention to details now because the set is built. No, in pre-production, we know that to make this set look as authentic as possible, we're going to put as much detail as possible. Because if you don't put as much detail, it's going to look fake. Okay? So you try to put as much detail as possible, so you hire the people to make it happen. So I think the Peach Fuzz or the Nutsacks is all there from the very beginning because they're like, we want to make the most authentic looking game. We want to make it where there's a photo mode in here that you could pause it and take the greatest picture and it looks so good. That's from the ground up. That has nothing to be like, oh, we're bored. Yeah, we got this all done now. All right, well, what do you want to do? What about if we put Peach Fuzz on the face of the character? No, that's baked in from the start. I don't think they're bored and all of a sudden they're like, we could put nutsacks on the horses. No, they're like, no, I want to make the most realistic thing, right? And that's when they do it. And it could work out for them because they put all that in, and then you get a Red Dead Redemption where you got good story, you got good gameplay, you got wonky controls sometimes, but you have overall the package, okay, is grand, and it looks great because it all sells together. But when you have the great graphics and you have all of this stuff, and then all of a sudden something doesn't work in the game, but the nutsacks look great on the horses, you're like, well, was that necessary to put it in, right? It looks great on a title. It looks great on an article, right? Well, if we're putting that much detail in, the game has got to be good. 30. Gotta say, it's hilarious to me that people are saying Ghost of Yote is woke solely because Erika Ishii is on it, and she's an activist. She's a voice actor. In the theory, she doesn't have much power. I think, well, I can separate art from the actual project, right? Like, the actor saying something or doing something personally doesn't affect me where I'm going to ruin the game for me or wreck the game where I'm not going to like it because she's an activist. Okay, now, if the character that she's playing is doing the activist stuff in the game, that could be a little bit, appalling and be like, I don't really like this because of that. The game's not out yet. We don't know of anything about the sort. If the person itself outside of work says stuff, now if she comes out and says something, and they don't deny it or say something, well, then there's the problem. Okay, but as of right now, I don't care. If people want to say it's woke, cool. But we haven't seen the game, so you don't know anything about the game to say that. They worked on it at the same time in teams, give it a take, give it a final product. Yeah, they're not bored and going, oh, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna add peach fuzz. I thought you were going to say pause it and take the greatest picture of a nutsack. No, I wasn't gonna say that. Like, look at Starfield. Starfield is visually, like, stunning in places, right? When the game first came out, the NPCs in the background, they're character designers out there. When you look at the main characters and not the background talent in the game, the main characters look much, much better than the background talent, okay? The game was supposed to come out a year before, but they delayed it 1 year. And then it came out, and those characters in the background looked hideous. They fixed it since then. Okay, but that's the same exact thing. They were making a game, and if they only focused on like 10 planets instead of 1,000 planets, even though they're like procedurally generated and the computer's doing it, the most part is instead of doing that, they could have taken the resources and put it towards more of a smaller thing. Okay, that's why when you look at the character models in Shattered Space, they look much better than the background characters and stuff in the other game when it came out, the main game when it came out, because they prioritized the main characters that you're talking to look better than the background talent. Because what's the odds that someone's going to run up to the background talent and be like, oh, this is hideous? Well, YouTubers will, and people that want to make content and take a picture of it and put it on Twitter so they can get a lot of hits, right? But for the most part, you're not running around talking to the NPCs that you can't talk to. They're just background noise. They're just background talent. World says, I don't want to hear about the real-world problems where I'm trying to escape. If it's focus, it removes it from the game. If it's there, then it's not a focus. I still enjoy the game. Sure. If I'm playing a Batman game, Batman Arkham, and obviously Batman takes place in Earth, right? But Batman's set in its own space. But all of a sudden, now something happens in the real world, and they take those problems, same exact problems, and put that in the Batman game, then that breaks immersion because you play Batman because you love the Batman character. And yes, it takes place in Earth and it takes place with real people. But when you start taking the stuff that's happening today and throwing it into a game now, then you're like, that's off-putting. You're getting away from this into that. But when you go into there and it's the exact same thing as the thing you're living in, then you're like, I don't want to play it. Hilly says, I give up on Starfield. If it's my TV settings, but the game looks terrible to me. Busy with DayZ now. I'm gonna fly out to your house. Okay, I'm gonna fly out to your house, Hilly. I'm gonna show up and see the problem. Okay, with it. Can you take? You're on Xbox, right, Hilly? Are you on Xbox? Well, it doesn't really matter. Whatever platform you're on, take an in-game screenshot, not through your phone. Take an in-game screenshot of Starfield and send it to us. I would love to see what it looks like. Or is it just the way... Because if you send a picture to us and it looks fine, then it is your TV. What's going on, Argus? You could discuss with Lono if you people looking at the Blades of Grass is back for gaming, is what Digital Foundry does a plus or minus. Wait a minute, who's talking about it? Digital Foundry's talking about the grass again, but that, see, in context, that's what they're known for. They want to break down stuff, right? Those are the people that are in my lawn, like Rick Moranis with the thing, trying to find problems and stuff, right? That is a small niche of a group of people that just like, oh yeah, it's the best, because they want to make sure that they have the best of the best. So they want the best system on the best TV with the best experience possible. Yeah, when you say it doesn't look right, when the Kuda Papa says it looks amazing, like on my TV screen, when I'm playing on stream, it looks good, but on my TV screen, it looks amazing. So I wonder if you have some sort of setting. Maybe your kids are messing with you. They're like, Dad's going to play some Starfield again. Why are you guys laughing? Why are you guys laughing? Oh, he's not playing Starfield anymore. Let's switch it back. Let's switch it back. It looks great. All right, let's put Starfield back in. I'm going to grab a drink. Like, why does it look so bad? The fact that Outlaws worlds were better made than Starfield says a lot. I would say in certain aspects, you would be correct, Travis. There's a lot of open nothingness in Outlaws as well, but the cities, the structure of the city feels better in the dense areas compared to, like, if I take the what's the first planet you're on? Tashara, right? If you take the Tashara planet in the main city compared to like Atlantis or Akiva, it's better in Outlaws for sure. But the open areas, there's still vast of nothingness there for majority of that map. But it's okay. It's okay in Outlaws because it's a smaller map. Wait, every other game, it's gotta be your TV setting. Travis says the kids are doing that. According to the studies, they're going to make a lot of money. There you go. Come on, kids. Get on the couch. Jump up and down. I want you to make a lot of money. Oh, man. Brain Clip says, well, it should have something that's better. Everything else sucks, even compared to the Division. Division's detail of world building is amazing. Is amazing. It's definitely a downgrade from Division to Outlaws. Krebsy says, in my opinion, Starfield looks dated and meh. Would be great in 2018 if a smaller issue at Ubisoft. Yeah, but if I take that example and show you like Battlefront from 2017, it doesn't hold a candle to it. That Battlefront with the realistic graphics, photorealism looks fucking amazing. Kingerd said it. 2011 graphics, 2012 for Battlefield 3 looks fantastic compared to the graphics now. There's a limit to like the graphics. Like, you don't need to make it look better. You don't need to make it look better. I would love a Battlefield 3. All right, let me see what's happening on Twitter. See if we can see any new things that popped up. The Golden Joystick Awards. You can vote now. All right, they have what was the Golden Joystick? Wait a minute. Do they show? Where is there a link? Here's how it works. Okay. That's not how it works. This is do they have a list of no. Golden Joystick Awards. Do they have the categories? Best storytelling, best multiplayer, best game. Joystick Awards. Golden Joystick Awards. I would love to vote, but who am I voting for? $19 categories. Okay. So, do they not show? Game of the Year, critically acclaimed. Okay, so here's the games that are in the Golden Joystick Awards. They have Astrobot for PlayStation 5, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Dragon Dogma 2, Helldivers 2, Prince of Persia: the Lost Crown, and Legends of Zelda franchise, or Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. So those are the games: Astrobot, Final Fantasy, Dragon's Dogma, Helldivers, Prince of Persia, and Zelda. Ooh, new trailer for Arcane Season 2. I'm excited to that. I like that show. It was like 3 years ago when I watched it. Krebsy says the FTC passed a law saying that subservices need to introduce a one-click to cancel feature. Pre-orders of Analogue 3D reimagining of the N64 open next week. The console costs $250 with a controller design of 8-bit due available separate for $40. Hold on. What is happening with this? Stop screen. Share screen. Pre-order. Pre-orders for Analogue 3D reimagining of the N64 open next week. The console costs $250 with controllers from 8-bit due, available separately for $40. Retro console manufacturer Analogue will open pre-orders for its N64 reimagined next week. Now, how does that work? Does Nintendo fucking sue them because they're making a console that's not part of it? Right? Announced last October, launched this year, Analogue 3D is an N64-like console that plugs into the modem, HD TV, and plays N64 games in 4K resolution. Okay? It's said to become compatible with every original N64 game ever made, except cartridges from all regions, and accepts all cartridges from all regions, and includes 4 original-style controller ports. Available in black, white, and the console is priced at $250 with controllers designed available separately at $39. Pre-orders will open up on October 21st at 8 p.m. I'm confused here. Can someone explain to me how Nintendo goes after emulators? Okay, but someone's coming out with a console that's not an N64. It's a reimagined N64, and yet they're not being sued into oblivion before it comes out. Anyone want to explain this to me? So it's okay. You're not allowed to emulate the games, but you're allowed to make a replica of the console. Magic Dolphin says, Soulja Boy for the win. World says it'll get shut down. Why isn't it getting shut down right now? Is Nintendo waiting for them to make money? Sarge says it didn't make any money. Give it time. Travis says Nintendo has good lawyers, but not fast. How do they win against simulators? They got them shut down. Most of them shut down. Obviously, more pop up. They just put a different name. Jason's a little far behind, I think. Do you have the N64, Sarge? At the house? Or do I have it in storage? Hilly says Nintendo lawyers are on strike. They've been crunching for decades. I think that's a story for tomorrow, Sarge. I think we'll talk about that tomorrow. Let me add that to the GXG submitted stories. And what else we got? Oh, I gotta go to the comic book store. I think I have to pick up my next comic. We got a event tomorrow, right? 1 p.m. I don't think we'll be live for that, though, for Xbox. We'll just talk about it tomorrow night for GXG. What is this? Hold on. I just saw something. What is this? This is Twitter. This is a new Marvel game, mobile, by NetEase. Who would have thought?
Your nightmare is my playground.
Can I just say, even these character designs look awesome.
With great power. You know the rest.
Get behind me. I'll protect you.
This is what I've trained for. I'm unstoppable, baby! Can't have a party without me.
No, it's a mobile game. It's probably like a turn-based type of game, like Strike Force or something.
Let's have some fun.
Those character designs look cool. Can someone tell me who that character is right there? Who's this character right here? Who's this character? I'm asking. Is that supposed to be what's her name? Ironheart? Who's that? Mystic Mayhem.
Your reality belongs to me now.
So there you go. Misty Knight. She's a new character. Okay. Should I add her to the list? Should I add her to the list of characters that look exactly alike from Redfall, Concord, Fortnite? Akira Papa says, that's Kim Belair. Oh, okay. I'm asking because I don't follow all the comics all the time. I don't know, Worlds. I don't know. I'm literally, I don't know who the character is. She was in Iron Fist. Okay. And what's her name? Misty Knight? Misty Knight? Misty Knight. Misty Knight. Misty Knight. Does Misty Knight cards have a use? I love how, hold on. Let me look up let me look up the history here. Misty Knight's from the 1970s, okay? Was first mentioned in Marvel's Premiere number 20 of January 1975. She debuted as Marvel Premiere number 21, March of 1975. Created by writer Tony Isabel and artist Avril Jones. 2000, she had nothing really else happen. 72, 77. And then she appeared in 1991 Deathlock series. In 2000, Misty Knight appeared in 2005 Daughters of Dragons. And she appeared in 2013 Fearless Defender series. And then she appeared in 2017 Black Panther and the Crew series. Yeah, I knew nothing about her. So what's her abilities and stuff? She's a human cyborg. Team affiliation, New York Police Department. Daughters of the Dragon, Heroes of Hire, Defenders, Valkyrie. Partners with Colleen Wing, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. Her abilities are bionic arm granting, concussive blast projectile, control over magnetism, superhuman strength, technopathy, expert of martial arts, and hand-to-hand combat. Expert detective. Okay, well, there you go. I wonder if she was inspired by Jackie Brown. Yeah, see, I didn't know nothing about her. So, see how that works? You show a picture, everyone's like, woke. And then I'm like, well, let's dive deeper into it. Travis says, I got 2 old comic runs, and I'm so glad I found them. Which runs? Which ones of the runs? All right. I think that is going to do it for us today. Not much other stuff is happening. So we'll leave it there. We'll be back tonight for some shooting the shit with Sarge. Don't know what we're playing tonight, but we'll be playing something tonight. And then we'll be back tomorrow morning for some more gaming news with the Daily Grind. And then tomorrow evening with Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. If you guys like what I do here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you coming out and enjoying the hour, 2 hours. If you're here for 1 second, 1 minute, or 1 hour, I do appreciate you very much. And again, I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.